What's good, everybody? Y'all know who I am. I go by the name of Gabriel Ori, and this is my co-host.
What up, y'all? I'm JR.
It's JR, and we're excited for another Friday. Hey, listen, we're in December right now. Merry Christmas. This is the Christmas month. This is the month that people deem giving month, the month that you give, but you should give all the time, right? How was your day, bro?
Pretty good, man. No complaints at all. You know me. Every Friday's a good day.
Every Friday's a good day?
Every Friday's a good day, but I'll put it this way. Every day is a good day. I'm alive, man.
I feel you, man. I'm struggling today. I ain't going to even hold you. This is a straight struggle for me today. Struggle Friday. But I got done what I was trying to do, but it was a struggle. I struggled with it.
Did you get done? Did you get done what you were supposed to do? Did you take care of that person that was we'll talk about that later.
I'm trying to figure out where you're going at. But now I got that done. We have to talk to her. I'm not just gonna. We got to talk to her. But anyway, y'all share this video. Share this video. Hit share. Giving y'all a chance to share this. Tag an artist. Tag somebody that sings, because tonight we have a very special guest backstage with us. She hails from, man, I'm gonna mess it up.
Loosedale. There you go.
Lucy Goosey Dale, Mississippi, all the way down, south. It's funny, South Carolina is considered the South, is like southeast.
Yeah.
But then when you get into like what I would call like the South, like Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana, like those pockets, that's like you straight South. You're not East, you're not West, you just
at the bottom.
South. So I'm gonna go like South. We're Southeast. She's from the South, but she lives in the Southeast. She likes to say y'all. in a good way, but she's near and dear to our hearts, special person to JR and myself, to our business Time the Sounds. And just in case you under a rock, you don't know who I'm talking about yet, this is the one, the only Miss Jada Hyatt King.
Better known as Jadan King.
Jadan. Now, I met you as Jada. Nobody ever. So when I saw Jadan, I was like, who's Jadan?
That's my real name. Jadan's my real name.
I figured that out.
Yeah.
But I was introduced to you as Jada, or you was introduced to me as Jada.
Yeah.
And that's just what I know you as. How you doing today, Jada?
Good. No complaints. How about y'all?
Oh, we're good. So now I know I gave you a very Rudy Poop rough, just a disservice with your introduction. But can you kindly officially introduce yourself to our audience?
So I'm Jadan King. I sing just about anywhere that anybody invites me, but I do lead worship at New Vision Cathedral here in Charleston. It's really Lincolnville, but nobody knows where Lincolnville is. And you have to tell them how to get there and where it's at and all that. But yeah, man, I'm here. I guess I'm starting to be a local yokel, but this accent says I'm not. But there you go.
I like, that's a new word, local yokel.
Local yokel.
We don't say that around these parts, right? Local yokel. That's good. So have you always been a singer? I mean, what age did you start singing?
So I remember seriously singing as young as like 2 years old. I am the baby of 5 kids, and everybody sang. And so I have a sister that's a little over 2 years older than me. And so soon as I guess I could really get some words out to sing, she and I were on stage singing together. And we grew up singing together, especially me and her, until my older teenage years.
So y'all sung together for how long?
We sang together from the time I was 2 till I was about 19 when I left to move to West Virginia, because at that point I was hired to sing with a Southern gospel group. But yeah, my sister and I sang together separately, So
your sister's a singer too?
Yeah, both my sisters are, and my mom.
Singing family.
Oh yeah, my
So,
brothers too. They don't sing as much anymore, but they used to sing.
so are y'all gonna maybe do something together in the future?
You I have begged them to do
Uh-uh.
something, and the last time I asked them, they said they would do something with
And how long ago was that?
me. It's just getting them here to do it is the thing.
So how was life growing up for you, being from a sound like a singing background family?
So, from the time I was about 14, when what happened was we got a new pastor at my home church, and he and his wife like seriously believed in like raising people up in the church. Like if you
Mm.
had a talent, you had a skill, they put it to use, and were cheerleaders. And she's passed on now. He's still living, and he's been like that, and she was at every church they pastored. But when I was 14 and they came to our church and they first heard me sing, they actually put me and two of my other friends together to lead worship. And which was really crazy because we had been a choir oriented church. So we had not ever had really a praise team before. And I was only 14 years old when I started leading worship. So, yeah, it
Wow.
went on from there.
And growing up, what were some of like your musical influences?
Oh,
What y'all sound like?
okay. Now listen, I got like a whole, like, huge genre of musical influencers. But my most favorite singer of all time, hands down, is Whitney Houston. I have always loved Whitney Houston, but I loved country. I loved Reba McEntire. She was a good influence. Gospel music, people that you would never know who they are, but to me, they're like heroes. Madonna McFall. Um, let's see, Janet Paschal. Um, and then there's some people that are like not even that much older than me that were influencers to me. Nicole Watts Jenkins, Tammy Underwood, Diana Gillette. These are people that you guys wouldn't know, but
Mhm.
these are people that in Southern gospel world, others would know.
J.R. Johnson.
Um, I'm trying to think who else was huge influences on me. Oh, Celine Dion. She was one of my favorites. Mariah,
J.R. Johnson.
huh? J.R. Johnson. If you can ever hear that woman sing.
Now, I don't know if this is Southern gospel,
So
but
yeah,
I heard of the Crab family. Is that
yeah,
Southern
yeah.
gospel?
Yes.
Yeah. And let me tell you something interesting that you said their name, because when I was 18, 19 years old, Jason Crabb, who is now, he's won Grammys, Dove Awards.
Mhm.
Um, he actually produced my first solo album, like real now
Wow.
Wow.
solo. Yeah. Yeah. He
How
really was a great influence in my life.
how was that experience for you? Like, being with a legend in the
Oh my.
gospel, the country gospel world.
Well, that was crazy because when Jason, basically discovered me, they had just like started really getting pretty famous.
Mm.
Um, they were dominating the Southern gospel charts, like number ones. Everything they released went number one.
Wow.
So it was really exciting to have someone, I really did not do what I was doing to get noticed. All I needed to do was just grab a microphone and try to, lift up the name of Jesus. And it was crazy because I opened up for them. And he came to me after the concert and told me that, one of his brothers, really was telling him he had like to, thinking about, hey, man, we should produce her. And so it kind of went from there. And then from them producing that first album, I released a single. I released my single and then got hired to sing with the Southern Gospel group that I was with for 3 years. But then
Wow.
yeah, after that, after I came out of Southern Gospel, I really got into worship, like really dove deep into worship.
Wait,
After
wait, 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 wait. Pause, pause.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Jay. You go first.
Well, I was going to ask about the group that you were traveling with.
yes,
Now, were they also Southern Gospel, or were
yes,
they okay? So tell us
yes.
about that. How did you get involved with
Okay,
that,
so
that group?
they after I released my first single, a guy from one of the record companies called Jason and was like, "Hey, this the Perry Sisters is looking for an alto singer. Do you know anybody?" And he was like, "Excuse me, sorry." He said, "Yeah, yeah, I know this girl. Like I've produced her a new album. I'm gonna send it to you." And the guy sent it to them, or either I sent audition tape. I can't remember. And it was so funny because the first weekend they flew me out to kind of, have me audition. They showed me, it was like garbage bags full of CDs and tapes that all these women and girls had sent into them for auditions. And it was crazy how that God led them to pick me. And it was a very humbling experience because you're talking about in the Southern gospel world, this is a huge group that, somebody that nobody knew got to sing with, and it was a great experience. I was with them for 3 years, and it was really a wonderful experience to be on the road with them, to learn from them in so many different aspects. And it was crazy because I was raised Church of God, but when I got to West Virginia, the church they went to was non-denominational, and I had really never been in a non-denominational atmosphere until I entered that church. And that seriously changed my whole life.
so out of that whole exchange, I got at least 3 questions.
Okay.
Number one, on your project with Crab family,
Yeah.
how many songs was on that project? Did it chart? Because you said everything the Crabs was touching
Right.
was number one. Did the one they did do for you, did that
Right.
chart? How many songs was it?
So it had 10 songs on it, but I only ended up releasing one because after the first one was released, I got hired on with the Perry Sisters. So that was the only one, excuse me, that I ever released.
How's that work? Because it's so were you under contract agreement with them
Not
or
No, I was just on the record label. It wasn't really, yeah, I mean,
okay,
and
okay.
even, I really can't remember, to be honest with you. And even if I was, they must have basically released me from it because they were like hands on with helping me, get on with this group. And from the moment I've got with the Perry Sisters, I actually sang a lot on the road with the Crab family because we were paired up with them on a lot of concerts and stuff.
The other question I have is you mentioned that, hey, I was singing Southern gospel for a little while.
Mhm.
Then I got into worship. Now, explain to me and the audience, because I don't know, what's the difference between Southern gospel and then worship?
So Southern gospel is basically like you have country music, you
Uh-huh.
have country gospel music, then you have Southern gospel music. And they're all country, of course, is country,
Uh-huh.
but there is a difference between country gospel and Southern gospel. Country gospel is more of an inspirational based singing. Like you're still singing about God, but it's more inspirational, like, kind of like I Believe I Can Fly, like a
Mm.
song. Okay. Southern gospel is more basically like gospel. You're more of a message base, like you're singing songs about the Bible or about Jesus, about the blood of Jesus, or, things like that. But it's with a thick Southern accent.
So it sounds like it's equivalent to what we call gospel, like just straight gospel, and then like uh CCM,
Yeah,
um
I was about to say that.
contemporary Christian music. The explanation you gave, because I take it
So
like this, like
they're different. Contemporary and Southern gospel are different.
I,
Contemporary,
no, yeah.
like like when you, like Amy Grant, sing your praise to the Lord. Come on, everybody. That's contemporary.
How would you describe
So
that though? Is that inspirational?
that would be
Is
contemporary.
that inspirational or is that word based?
It's word.
It sounds like
Word.
Southern gospel is straight from the Bible. You singing songs about the blood and just Jesus in the Bible, and you said that country gospel is inspirational. It may
Yes.
not necessarily be from the Bible. I'm saying that CCM is inspirational, is not, or maybe I have it backwards, and the gospel is kind of like
It's not inspirational.
it's not inspirational, but you got to throw a little leg in there, because I look at it like, you know, so it's like most African artists that does
Yeah.
gospel, they're not considered CCM artists, they're considered gospel artists.
Right.
But most of the songs, some of it comes from the Bible, but a lot of it's kind of like, woe is me, help me, help me get over this challenge.
Oh, yeah, encouraging.
Yes.
Whereas CCM is like, God is great all the time. It's like, hey, we ain't got no challenges. It's just we're gonna lift up. We're gonna lift up.
It's like praise and worship. Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost like sound preference up with different style of lyrics.
Yes.
To give you the different style of music. Like y'all said, you know, inspiration. So what would be what would so now it makes me think then worship is a different genre.
Southern gospel. This would be a little bit of Southern gospel. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little bit. Okay.
Okay.
I've seen the righteous man suffer with pain, and it looked like that the wicked would go free. And in my frustration, it just didn't seem right to me. I ask you for sunshine, but then you sent the rain. I cried for healing, but I only got pain. But I know your love, it's gonna see me through. And Lord, I still trust you. That's one of the songs off that album from the Jason Crab thing.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
And that's Southern gospel.
That's Southern gospel.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so I wanted to know those differences, because it sounds like we got a lot of JR said like genres.
There is there's a lot of, like, and I don't think people realize that within gospel music, it's kind of like secular music. You know, there's so many genres of secular music. You know, you've got all this stuff, but gospel has a lot of genres too.
Is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Does this advance and push forward the gospel of the kingdom, or does this take away to you?
I think it depends on your taste. Like, you know, Southern gospel kind of caters to an older generation, you know, whereas contemporary caters to a lot of younger generation. Worship caters to a totally different crowd. And then gospel.
Another crowd. Okay, so then that brings another question.
Yes.
Why so
I didn't make these things up, Gabe.
No. I'm good. I'm good. It's just making me, it's giving me a lot more questions. Like, that's telling me that you may go to a church, because you know, like say the people on the outside, the people that's not, they don't really understand church like that. They're just on the outside. So they say all churches are the same. So if I go to one, it's like I went to all, and then they go into a church and they experience something that in their minds they thought they were going to get something else. How would you talk to a person that's unchurched? They don't know Southern gospel from country gospel, from, you know, how would you lead them based off knowing a little bit about them, their background? How would you lead them? What would you advise to them if your church was right there in the neighborhood, but you knew this person would, like, yo, they probably not going to get with the type of service we have? Would you recommend them to your church?
I would. So, I mean, it would depend on what they were looking for. You know, because like our church,
don't they only look for one thing?
They do. They look for the Lord.
Right.
I always suggest my church first because I know the people there, I know the spirit there, and I know, what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, if somebody was like, look, I don't want to attend, like I don't want to go to, where they just turn the lights down low and they're doing worship and the preacher's just kind of, talking. I want to go where, man, they're running they're peeling the paint off the wall, shouting and, good old hymnals. And
What?
that would be,
What?
you
Oh,
know?
sorry. What I hear out of all of this is a preference for someone, because, like
Yeah.
you said, one group like this, one group like that, another group like this. But then, if you
Yeah.
think about it, in other countries, there's some people who don't have preference. They can't even
Right.
worship anywhere. But
That
I
sounds
don't
like
know.
we're spoiled. That
But
sounds like we're spoiled
This
here.
guy,
we
this
are,
guy came to the church Wednesday, and he was like, "We have Hollywood Christianity here."
We probably if we got all these choices, but
yeah.
disclaimer,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with turning lights down low and
There,
doing all of that stuff. That's
there's nothing wrong with that. I was just saying if someone came and didn't want that,
Yeah.
right. No,
there,
I'm saying that for the audience. Hey,
oh,
we got nothing against.
yeah, please worship in your own way.
Yeah.
I like it if the lights are on or off. I'm going to worship him either way. So,
Mm.
worship is worship to me, period.
So
Yeah.
listen, just go ahead.
My thing is, man, find the Lord.
That's right. You
Find
got
the
to go
Lord.
where you, what I'm saying, where
Mm.
you're getting fed, where you feel like that your spirit is being fed and where, and it may not be Gabe's church,
Right.
it may not be your church there, and it may not be my church,
Right.
It might be a church down the road that, may not be where I would want to go, but maybe where somewhere else is getting fed. That's why I'm going to put this little plug in there.
Plug it on in.
You should never, as someone in the body of Christ, put down on another person's church because that somebody else is getting fed.
It's helping somebody. Yep.
Yes.
Definitely. And so we're gonna take a break right here.
Okay.
And Jada, this whole conversation is making me want to go somewhere, but we got to talk about your music.
Yes.
You got new music out. So we're gonna talk about this music as soon as we get back, y'all. So listen, share this video. We got Jadan King on Ask a Producer tonight. Share this.
Sunday morning is one of the most segregated times in the country.
So when we understand our role as believers in the body, we should be the most powerful force on the planet. The church is the largest special interest group in the world. But because we are so fragmented and disjointed,
This is the moment, the one where every detail matters, where the essence of who I am takes center stage. Tonight isn't just another evening, it's a canvas waiting to be painted with shared smiles, laughter, and the unspoken connection. It's not just a fragrance, it's a whisper of who I am, an unspoken invitation, a story waiting to be unfolded. With this cologne as my silent ally, I'm armed and ready to create a night that won't be forgotten by morning. Tonight, I become the author of an unforgettable story. Code 78, the love movement.
Have never
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear the same thing I heard? That was phenomenal. That's Jadan King, Nothing But Good. Listen, Jada. So speaking of nothing but good, you know, God has been nothing but good to
Right.
you. No,
Yeah.
tell us how this song, you know, Nothing But Good came about for you.
Well, you want
Well,
let me my weird story about this song. No, it's not really weird. Actually, I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning one night, and I had been dreaming that I was standing on a stage singing the chorus to this. And so I picked up my handy dandy phone and started singing into it, and that's where it came from.
wow. Just as
Yep.
simple as that.
Yep.
Did you imagine the song being kind of what it is now, this just huge anthem like song?
You know, I knew I wanted it to be fast. And when I sent it to you guys, I think I only had like one verse written. So, kind of like when y'all heard it and was able to create what you did, I kind of fed off of that, kind of like I did with my own voice. Like, it's when you have people that are like minded and like spirited, as you guys are with me, like I have such a connection with y'all. And it just, I'm able to feed off of y'all. And so when you guys sent me like what you had, and then I was able, you know, it was kind of like it kicked in from that point.
Yeah, it's always good to collab. And just
Oh, yeah.
for those who don't know, Jada, I was gonna ask Jada, hey, so who worked with you on this song? But yeah, Timeless Sounds, JR and myself.
Yeah.
And with a slew of others, you know, she had the background team singing,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and it's a name that we say that's synonymous with a lot of artists that we Timeless Sound work with, and that's Gabrielle Hill.
Yes.
But it's a lot of other people, you know, that help.
Beautiful. Yeah, my beautiful daughter's on that song.
How that make you feel to have your daughter? Now, your daughter, is she going to follow in your footsteps as far as being a songstress?
I don't know, because I keep trying to hand her the microphone. She always passes out on me. So
Hey, well, she's starting.
let me say that London has been in choir since she was like third grade, I think. She's been in all state, all these things. She really actually has a phenomenal voice.
Yes, it
She
does.
really a great soprano voice. That girl can hit some notes that I can't even hit. But it is a feeling that I just can't even describe to have, you know. I'm trying not to get emotional about it.
That's
Don't
okay.
cry.
That's mommy's
Oh,
baby. Go ahead
Don't
and
cry.
cry.
Don't cry.
yeah. Not only on stage with me, you know,
Mm.
every Sunday singing worship. She goes everywhere I go. You know, she was on the fair. She was at the fair. She was at the choir showcase. Like, she never says, Mom, I don't want to do that. Or, you know, she's right there with me. So,
Believe it or not, that's a good practical form of mentorship. That's how mentorship,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like.
yeah.
You know, you are mentoring her, even if you don't think you are,
Yeah.
you are, you know,
She's
so
learning. Yeah.
yeah. How
Let me
important is that, you know, for you, especially this is your daughter. So it's not like it's some other kid, you know, that may be a part of a program. This is your daughter that you have the opportunity to mentor and shape in a genre that you're already in. How's that, you know, how's that feel to you?
So it's crazy because it's more important to me to live a serious Christian life and to have a walk with Christ that is real in front of her, because to me, that is more important than these other things. I mean, she's already been in choir, she's got to experience all that. My focus right now, she knows the singing part, she's great at that, she's got that. My focus right now is feeding into her how you're supposed to live, letting her see a true example. When I fail, when I do something wrong, or if I make a mistake, I'm very quick to tell her that was wrong of me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that, because it is that serious to me to see her, for her to see someone actually live out a true Christian walk in life. And to me, all those other things are falling in place, and they will fall in place. But it's the most important thing to me right now to sow into her is, you know, really letting her see what a woman a woman of God should be, because I'm
Absolutely.
wanting very seriously. Jay and I have had this talk many times about, I don't watch, on TV things that other people watch, or listen to music other people listen to, or, do other things, because I take the anointing so serious, because it's a precious gift that God gives you. And, once it's gone, it's gone, you know? So
Absolutely.
gotta
Now, now I know that are a wife,
Mhm.
you're a mother, and you do a lot of things. You're a worship leader in your church. You're an artist, and you do a lot of other things outside of the singing world. How do you balance all of the different things that you have going on? How do you do that as an artist?
Honestly, I think it's because of my
You,
husband.
you throw it all on Sonya?
Sonya, I would not honestly
Poor
be able
thing.
to book anything. Sonya takes care of me. Seriously, she really does. Man, she takes care of me for real now. Between her and my husband, that's how I stay balanced. And actually knowing when I need to stop and take a minute and rest too. So
That's good you say that, because it's important that you balance things out, because if you have a mission, God gave you something, you can't just go head first and just stay there in 80 miles an hour
know your
thinking you're
body.
gonna get something. Yeah, exactly. So I'm
That's how
glad you said
it
that.
works.
It's very important.
Yeah. I mean, you have to relax. You've got to relax not only your mind, but your body. Those are key things. And I mean, I'm not a spring chicken no more, y'all. I gotta be good to myself about these things.
Not a spring chicken, but a spring turkey.
Right. Spring turkey.
So listen, do you write?
I
How,
do. So
you do?
I do write. Now it is something I did not really get into because, and I honestly believe it was because I felt like it was just something I wasn't very confident in.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I have written before like bits and pieces of stuff, but I think because I wasn't very confident in that. But once I did my own voice, it seems to be a little bit more natural to me now. I feel a little bit more confident in it. I feel confident to say, "Hey, Gabe, I've got this little piece of this. Can you help me?" Or JR, somebody help me kick this off so I can get it going or whatever. But I feel a little bit more confident in it. I wrote my own voice. You and I did collaborated on Nothing But Good. And it's not an easy process, but it's coming a little bit more natural and easier to me now. The more I do it, the better I feel like it's coming, because honestly, writing a song is just something from within you. You know, I have all these experiences, all these things I've been through in my life. And I've always said I'm going to write a book one day about it. But honestly, I can just do that through song too.
It's communication.
Yep.
Yeah.
The last question I have for you, you mentioned my own voice,
Mhm.
and you have Nothing But Good out.
Mhm.
Go cop that, y'all. Download it, all digital streaming networks. But what do you want the listener to garner from your songs? Songs like My Own Voice, songs like, Nothing But Good. What do you want the person to take away from your songs?
Well, I initially hoped that it speaks to someone. Like My Own Voice, I wrote about testimony, how that, a lot of times we go through things and we don't want to talk about it, or we don't want to say anything about it. But God is saying right now is your time to speak up and let the world know what you've been through, because there is someone out there that is going through the same thing you went through, that needs to be ministered to, that needs, they need that healing process that you went through. And so that's kind of like what My Own Voice was about. Nothing But Good is, to me, is just a testament about how good God has been to me. And um I don't want to get emotional about that either, but God has just brought me through so many things, and I would not be here today without him. Definitely. He's nothing but good. And it was, it was funny because when I was writing this and I kind of wanted to change y'all, you remember that, Gabe? And you were like, no, Jada, don't do that.
Put that
Because,
y'all in there.
right. Because ultimately I am trying to sing in the gospel genre. But that song kind of brings in a little bit of that Southern heritage, it's just me. He ain't never been nothing but good. I know a lot of double, triple negatives in there, but it's just how I feel about God. So it was kind of a cool thing that you brought that to my attention and said, Jada, don't do that. That's you. It's
That's your
something.
heart. Yeah.
And so, and after it's come out, like, man, I'm grateful that God gave it to me, because I think it may be one of my favorite songs I've ever done.
Perfect.
Well,
And I'm glad you did it with us.
Yeah,
yeah.
me too, definitely.
So,
Yeah.
so my last question is, what's next?
What's next, man? I don't know, because let me tell you something. I say
Christmas. No.
right about Christmas, but I actually wanted to and Sonia's gonna be so surprised by that. Well, maybe not, by the time it comes out, but I'm starting to really want to open up, and Gabe and I were talking about this the other day, 2024 bookings, because God has so awesomely been so good to me this year with open doors. And I'm just believing that, I really am believing that this is the beginning, that God is, I've waited for that transition, not to, I'm not in it to win it. I'm not in it to win, Grammys and that's great. I don't put down on anybody. I'm glad for things like that. I'm glad that people accomplish those things. But honestly, my mission is just to minister to someone and to help someone and to encourage someone. And anything that comes along with that, I'm good with. But, I'm just thanking him for open doors this year, and I'm believing that for next year too. Definitely.
It's
Well,
gonna happen.
Yeah.
it's happening already, and we definitely appreciate you for coming on Ask a Producer.
You're welcome.
Hopefully y'all got some gems. She shared a lot of gems with y'all. Jada, where can people find your music? Nothing But Good.
Oh my goodness.
My Own Voice. Where can they find that?
Any streaming platforms, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, any of those, YouTube. So
That's right. And
yeah.
y'all go
Everywhere.
download it. You can find it anywhere that you stream music, anywhere you listen to music.
And I try to
Support.
events. And if you miss me, I'm an MVC every single Sunday morning.
That's right. Praise and worship leader.
10:30 a.m.
Yeah. On
Jaden
the
King.
play.
So we appreciate you for coming on. Y'all share this video. This has been a life lesson. On this podcast, we don't want to just talk about the thing that they do. We want to dig behind how they got there, right? And I think it's important to share your story, with people that's up and coming, who they only see the results of what you're doing, but they don't really know how you got there, what you did to get there. And so I'm thankful for podcasts like this, that can divulge those missing links for people to see. It doesn't come by night. It's hard work. And so again, Jada, we appreciate you for coming on
Thank you,
with
guys.
us.
Yeah.
And JR, you got anything else?
No, Jada, thank you so much. You've been a
Well-
blessing to us, and we're so appreciative of everything that you've done and just giving us an opportunity.
Seriously.
And we're looking for the next. So y'all share this
Right.
video. It's been Ask a Producer. I'm Gabriel. This is JR. Hey, and we out.
Bye.
Peace.